Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the session for the next 30 minutes, which is Resilience at Work for Competitive Advantage. My name is Phil Daly, and I'll be with you for the next 29 odd minutes talking about resilience. And firstly, I'd like to welcome everyone, but also I'd like to acknowledge the Bundjalung people, both present, past, and future. And we're operating out of Lennox Head, the Byron Bay area. We're in the far north coast of New South Wales. And as you can see on the screen, my name is Phil Daly, and I'm Entrepreneurship Facilitator Service. We operate a service on behalf of the Australian Government here in the Richmond Tweed area, and that runs from Lennox Head all the way through to Tweed Heads on the beautiful north coast. And we have a wonderful day here. It's probably around 26 degrees and brilliant sunshine. So I hope you are enjoying Spark Festival. And I'm going to talk to you about resilience. But first up, I want to tell you about Build, Grow, Run and the Entrepreneurship Facilitator Service. There are 23 facilitators across Australia. They're funded by the Australian Government, and they're designed to support people who have a business idea and want to turn that into a business, a small business, or they're already in business and they're finding it challenging, particularly during the COVID situation. They're finding it challenging to grow and develop their business. So they come to Ellie Corley, who's on the left of the screen, who has a marketing and communications and engagement background, principally in the UK, but has been living in the beautiful North Coast here for the last 7 to 8 years. And Ellie brings to the table a whole lot of marketing expertise, but also a lot of knowledge about running a small business. Myself, I've been involved in small business with both my own small businesses in the 80s. I had a record retail store in the heart of Sydney for around 4 or 5 years, which I built up and then sold. And then I had a commercial cleaning business in the latter part of the 80s. Again, a rundown business, which I built up with 4 employees and 3 subcontractors working for me in the eastern suburbs of Sydney. And as you can imagine, both those businesses were quite different. Retail was a great opportunity to be able to interact with a whole range of customers and do one of the things that I was quite passionate about, is about music and talking to people about music, and then selling records and what we had, tapes in those days, and towards the end we also had CDs. So it was quite an exciting time. It was also very interesting for me to go into the business of commercial cleaning, and I'll talk a little bit about that throughout my presentation, because I wasn't naturally passionate about a commercial cleaning business, but I saw it as a great opportunity for me to learn about business, but also to grow and develop a business and create the business around my lifestyle. So that tells you a little bit about myself and Ellie Corley. As I said, we run Build, Grow, Run, the entrepreneurship facilitator, out of Byron Bay, beautiful Byron Bay, in what is known as the Habitat Precinct. We're open 5 days a week, and we work with a whole range of startups and small business people. Let's move on to what I want to talk to you about today, and it's about resilience at work for competitive advantage. Because why did I call it for competitive advantage? Because if you're in business, whether you're in a startup phase or you're more mature as far as developing your business, you're going to have a number of challenges throughout running your business, developing your business. It doesn't all go smoothly. And as many business people are finding out now during the COVID period, which started around about February, March this year, and we're still very much in that pandemic situation, many people are finding running a small business extremely challenging. And, you know, we've heard the term that people are having to pivot. And so many people are having to change whether their product or their service, and they're also having to adapt. And so that requires resilience. And what I'm going to talk to you today about is the 7 characteristics of resilience at work, and how to sustain your resilience and maintain your momentum in your business, I'm also going to walk you through those 7 characteristics. I'm then going to offer some suggestions as far as developing resilience. And I'm also, towards the end, going to talk about some of the risk factors that you need to be aware of in regards to managing yourself, most particularly. So let's get on and talk a little bit about Resilience at Work Toolkit. Now, the Resilience at Work Toolkit was developed by a psychologist out of South Australia. Her name is Catherine, and she's done a great job as far as developing the Resilience at Work Toolkit. And what you see on the screen there is they've developed a tool that can be used to assess the individual's resilience, where their strengths are and where there's opportunities for them to grow. It's also a tool that's been adapted to look at team resilience. So in regards to developing a team of people within your business, or it may even be within your department, there's a tool to be able to manage and assess where the team is at in regards to resilience. Now, I'm not going to talk so much about team resilience today. I'm going to be focusing mainly on individual resilience due to time commitments. But one of the things that is most important if you're leading a team is to recognise that I have individuals in my team and I also have a team that I'm wanting to develop. And what I'm aiming for as a leader of the team is that I'm aiming to develop a number of facets in regards to the team. And that can be in regards to adapting, it can be in regards to performance, it can be in regards to the individuals and how they're participating in the team. So today we're principally focusing on individual resilience as distinct from team resilience. But you as a leader, if you lead a team, it's most important to be aware that you can have access to a tool that will help you assess how individuals are going and how the team is going overall. So let's move on to our next slide. And what I want to do is to give you a definition of what we're talking about when we're talking about resilience. It's an individual's capacity to manage our everyday stress of work and remain healthy, adapt and learn from unexpected setbacks, and prepare for future challenges proactively. Now, in life, as we move through it, as we move out of our teenage years, as we move into particularly our 20s and our 30s, we're having to manage a whole range of things that are going on in life, whether it's personal relationships, whether it's actually deciding what we want to do with our career or whether we want to go into small business. There are incidents, there are events that come up that create stress for us. So one of the things that we need to learn about in regards to being resilient is managing that stress and also adapting to change that is going on in our life, recognizing that things will come along and that will require us to pivot, as they say, or to make change based on what's in front of us. And it's also about being proactive in regards to our life, in regards to our personal life or our business life. So resilience is very much about coping with the day-to-day, remaining healthy, adapting and learning from unexpected setbacks. And one of the things that I learned in small business that is vitally important to be able to regularly reflect on what has happened, what did I learn from that, and what can I do differently next time so that I don't make the same mistake. So let's go on to the next slide. And we're all about our own well-being. So resilience is an essential ingredient for a sustainable and high performance, whether we're talking about our personal life or our business life. So resilience is a changing state that involves an interplay with our environment. So it's adapting to our situation. And very much so with our COVID-19 situation that we've been living within since March earlier this year. Many of us couldn't go to work as normal. Many of us had to work from home and adapt to that changing environment. And many of us had children who were going to school and all of a sudden had to be homeschooled. So many of us had to adapt, not only as business owners and leaders, but many of us had to adapt to our home environment. So resilience is about managing that interplay between the various environments and how that's changing. Context is vital. It's also about having a systems approach in order to be sustainable. In other words, to be able to keep moving forward. It also needs a strengths and coping focus. So to recognize what are your actual strengths and what can you call upon, and how do you actually cope when unexpected events come along? How do you actually cope when you have something come before you that you weren't expecting? As well, it requires you to have an approach that is all encompassing and what we call a holistic approach. And at work, the focus is on aspects that can be changed, such as our behaviours, and that's our most important, rather than the personality or the broad concepts there. So one of the things that we're talking about when we're talking about resilience, and particularly resilience at work and the scale of measuring your resilience, is we're looking at your behaviours, not your personality. And so let's move on. When Kate McEwen came up with the resilience at work, she identified 7 areas. And there are 7 areas that I'm going to walk you through and give you a bit more of an insight into where maybe you're at in regards to resilience and how you go forward as far as using it as a competitive advantage. So the first of the 7 components is living authentically. Knowing and holding on to our personal values. So really knowing what are your personal values. And one of the things I did when I set up my business coaching business 21 years ago, was to identify what are my values that I want to operate within my business. And I came up with things like creativity. I came up with discovery. I understood that courage was something important to me. I understood that determination was something vital to be able to develop a business over more than a couple of years. I also thought that inspiration is something when I'm coaching people, I want to inspire them to want to achieve. And it's also about growth. So I had effectively 6 values that were really important to me personally, and also important in my business. So it's all about knowing what are your personal values. Do they align with the business you're running or the business you're working within? Because often we get uncomfortable with if our values don't match the business or the organisation we're working for. It's also living authentically is all about deploying our strengths and having a good level of emotional awareness and regulation. And one of the things I want to mention about emotional awareness is it's all about emotional intelligence. And the sort of things that we measure in regards to emotional intelligence is, do we have self-awareness of how we manage our emotions? Do we manage those emotions is the next level in regards to emotional intelligence. The third level is our social awareness or ability to empathise. And the fourth level of emotional intelligence is all about how we manage relationships. So emotions is all very important in regards to living authentically. The second component of the resilience at work and measuring your resilience is finding your calling. Now, one of the things I mentioned at the beginning is the difference between I had a record store and I had a commercial cleaning business. I had the record store in the early parts of the 80s, commercial cleaning in the second part of the 80s. I loved music. I could think of nothing better than sitting in a store all day and listening to a whole lot of different music. And as well as being able to sell it and communicate that with my customers. So I had a real sense of purpose when I had the record store. The same as now that I'm working with people to develop their ideas into businesses. It gives me a real sense of satisfaction seeing people grow and develop their business. So I have a sense of purpose. I found my calling. I understand what belonging is and how to work with people. And I've identified what are my core values and my beliefs. So that helps me as far as my resilience goes. And I would encourage you to think about, have I found my calling? Am I following what I really want to do? The third area to look at in regards to our resilience at work is having the capacity to reframe setbacks, maintain our solution focus, and manage our negativity. So this is really important. And the overall theme of it is saying, how do I maintain my perspective? And that's really important. If I've got a setback, what options do I have to overcome that? Am I focusing on solutions rather than focusing on the problem? And do I find that negativity, and what do I do in regards to negativity and moving forward? The fourth area is mastering our stress. It's employing work and life routines that help manage everyday stresses, maintaining that balance between doing your work and your life and enjoying your life, and ensuring time for relaxation. So something I do every day is I walk along the beach for half an hour with my dog. It's very relaxing. It allows me to set up the day by thinking about things that I want to do throughout the day. It also gets my body going. And so I find it extremely stressful if I don't do that regular walk. I also do regular physical exercise, such as playing tennis. So that's really important for me as far as managing my stress. And I find if I don't do that regularly, it comes back to bite me. The fifth area in regards to managing my resilience and making sure that I can operate at my peak performance is asking for feedback, asking for advice and support, and providing support to others. So let's just deal with the first part. If you work with people, regularly ask them in a casual way, how am I going? If you manage people, you may ask them, how am I going as your manager? What am I doing well? What could I improve? Listen to the feedback. Don't get defensive about it. Providing support. If you manage others, it's really important to recognize that you're there to support and manage people, and therefore you need to be available. So interacting cooperatively is the fifth component in regards to the resilience at work scale. Staying healthy, it seems a bit obvious, but maintaining a good level of physical fitness and a healthy diet is vital as far as being resilient. And so I'd strongly encourage you to regularly look at, am I doing regular exercise? And a survey was done recently of startup entrepreneurs and found that at least 25% of them were unhappy with the physical fitness that they were performing. In other words, they were so busy running their business, getting their business up, they had neglected their physical fitness. The diet is vitally important. Regularly managing your diet you'll find your health will grow and develop if you are looking at your diet and managing it in a healthy way. The seventh area component is developing and maintaining personal support networks. Now, it's been difficult during COVID. A lot of people have been doing Zoom meetings, networking Zoom meetings, a whole range of meetings, which has been helpful, but it's not the same. And I know that many of us are looking forward to being able to get back to networking. But you can always use email, you can use telephone, you can use a variety of ways to keep that network going. Give people a call, give them a call and see how they're going. Have a chat. Make sure you're doing that on a regular basis. Okay, let's move forward. So how do we look at those 7 components, and what are some of the things that we can do to be able to develop our resilience? Well, living authentically, it's important that we understand and use and draw upon our personal strengths. If you haven't identified your personal values, maybe that's an exercise you could do for a couple of hours where you just think about, what are the things that are important to me that make me happy? And how do you turn that into behaviours? How do I manage my emotions? And how do I manage it when I'm frustrated? Am I aware that I am frustrated and how I respond to that? And managing your mood, being conscious of when you're in a good mood and you're not in a good mood. And if you're not in a good mood, what do I do to move myself out of that? Do I go and do some exercise? Finding your calling is linking work to a higher purpose. In other words, what am I doing this day in, day out. Maybe look at your personal mission statement and developing social connectiveness. Humans, we found during COVID, they love being able to connect, and don't lock yourself away. Maintaining perspective in regards to setbacks. Okay, small thing on a big ship is often a statement I love hearing. Okay, on a big ship, sometimes those little hiccups are very small when you look back in the rearview mirror. Being solution focused rather than in regards to what is the problem? What is the solution here? What are my options? Avoidance of thinking traps. Think about how do I go when I have problems? Do I have positive energy? Am I optimistic? How do I respond to the management of negativity? And am I adaptable in a variety of situations? Managing stress, it's about having routines in regards to your work, at home, your exercise. Do I have time for relaxation? Do I have techniques for de-stressing? Most importantly, do I have a system for managing my time and my meetings? Do I negotiate workloads if they get over the top? And have I got work-life balance? And am I using mindfulness as far as managing my relaxation? Further developing our resilience, seeking feedback on performance, vitally important. You can do that in a structured way with a survey where you send it out to people, ask for their feedback using SurveyMonkey. You can do it informally, just over a chat. Ask for support. Offer support if you think you can help someone. Staying healthy, it's about looking at what are my habits, what are good habits, what are bad habits. Can I adapt and change those? Do I eat healthily? Do I do regular exercise? And how am I going as far as managing my sleep? And building networks. Networks are vital. And one of the things that I didn't do when I had a corporate life in the late 90s, and I spent quite a bit of time developing my network within the organisation and maybe some of my key contacts, but I really didn't take much advantage of really developing a strong outside network. And sadly, I left it until I went into business for myself and recognised that I needed to develop strong networks. And if you are in business, and it's vital to developing relationships. So I would strongly encourage you to look at that, particularly coming out of COVID. So what are some of the risk factors? What are some of the things you need to be aware of in regards to managing your stress, developing resilience? And if you're going to be an entrepreneur, if you want to develop your business, you need to be resilient. You can't let small little setbacks stop you moving towards what your vision is, moving towards what you want to achieve with your life and your business. So some of the things you need to be aware of in regards to you and your own development. Firstly, managing your stress. Do I have an excessive workload? Am I trying to take on too much? Do I have conflict between bringing my work home? Do I have conflict where I'm not doing sufficient at home? That can create a lot of stress. So maybe it's worthwhile spending some time looking at that. And thirdly, in regards to managing stress, is that no leadership support for self-care. Okay? And if you feel that there's no one out there assisting you and guiding you in regards to managing yourself, maybe it's worthwhile looking outside, looking around your networks, looking around your friends. Where can I get support in regards to that? Which leads us on to the second point in regards to overcoming risk is building networks. Sometimes we can over-rely on a limited number of people. That's why networking events, once we overcome COVID, are vital to attend. When I first moved to this area 19 years ago, I would go to the opening of an envelope. And I went to as many events, and they were very challenging because I'm not a naturally gregarious person in a social situation, but I learned techniques around networking. So I widen my network. Look for opportunities where you can widen your network, and also look for gaps in your network. Maintaining perspective is really important. The third area in overcoming risk regarding resilience is, do I have poor morale within myself or my business? Do I have negative colleagues within the business or people I'm working with? And do I have a lack of influence in regards to making decisions? Other risk factors that I need to be aware of to overcome resilience and develop a competitive advantage is interacting cooperatively. Okay, do I find that I don't have a support network around me? Do I find that I'm working with people who are constantly competitive? Do I have interpersonal conflict going on, whether it's in my workplace or in my private life? Do I have bullying going in the workplace? Is there a lack of open communication going on where I work or live? And is there constant judgment going on around me? What are the things I need to do to be able to live authentically? Well, I need to be able to work outside of my strengths. I need to be very clear about my values, and that do my values meet with the organisation or the business that I'm creating. Most importantly, what do I do in regards to finding my calling? Well, assess, do I have meaning with my work? Do I enjoy getting up in the morning and going to where I do my work? Am I involved in work that really creates something for me in my life? So do I have goals that are aligned with my personal goals? And if I work within a team, am I alienated from the team? Am I alienating people in the team? And most importantly, the final thing in regards to risk factors is, most importantly, if you're not healthy, you cannot operate your business. You cannot operate successfully within your business. So it's really important that you are conscious of the fact that I'm healthy and I'm maintaining regular health. So that just about gets us towards the end. I want to briefly mention about the team resilience. And you can see that there are 7 factors there that can be used to look at team resilience. I don't have time to go through that today, but it's a very powerful tool, a very effective tool in regards to assessing how your team is going. What do we mean by team resilience? It's the capacity of a group of employees to collectively manage the everyday pressure of both the work and remain healthy, to be able to adapt to change and be proactive in positioning for future challenges. Now, I've got around about a minute to go. If anyone has any questions, I'll have a look on the screen whether there are any questions. What do you personally do? Okay, one question I have got is, what do I do to personally manage any setbacks? Well, one of the things is I just sit down and look at my options, and I might spend some time even saying, what are the pros and cons of the particular situation? And I then look at what options do I have available for me. So it's a matter, I'm very analytical in regards to how I actually go about solving my problems. So I look at options, choose the best option forward, and then move forward confidently after choosing that option. Now, if people would like further information about the Resilience at Work scale, they can go to the website resilience.tv. If you want further information or want to talk to me, you can either contact me via my mobile number there, or you can email me, phil@buildgrowrun.com.au. You can get further information about the Entrepreneurship Facilitator service, which is at buildgrowrun.com.au. You can also follow us on the socials, Instagram and Facebook, buildgrowrun.com, just buildgrowrun. Please follow us because we keep you up to date with what we're doing, and we also inspire you if you're a startup or you're a person who wants to grow and develop your business. Thanks for attending today's session. I hope you found it valuable. And as in the future, please remain resilient and don't forget, wash your hands and maintain your social distancing. Thanks for joining me. Bye for now.